If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan's?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community, and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
This is Brian Fulford. A.B. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan's?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community, and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to stand?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to stand?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stansburg because the people, they're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stamps Superburger to you because, like I said,
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Have you
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the Pregame. Brought to you by Chambers and Galen Law Firm with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the Pregame.
Welcome to the pregame. It is finally game day. Jackson State Southern, the 70th edition of Jackson State versus Southern. Charles Bishop here with my partner, Neely, the bespectacled one over here. And we're ready to get this baby going today. I tell you what, is a picture-perfect day for football. Fans are already entering the stadium. We can kind of hear the boom cranking up.
That is certainly the sonic boom marching in.
That is certainly the sonic boom. We won't have the jukebox today. We'll get into all of that, but certainly a tremendous day for football. Looking forward to it, man.
Man, exceptional weather. We're going to have our weather, our meteorologist of the I Believe Go Tigers Network come on and get the weather from around the SWAC. But shout out to our sponsors, Penn Investments. You got Turner Insurance and Turner Associates out there. Amber Slaughter, always been with us from day one, has been Chamber and Gaylord Law Firm. And Chuck Mullins, Attorney Law, the title sponsor for halftime, pregame, postgame, all of that. Beautiful day here at the Vet. Not too late to get here. It's an hour or so to kick off. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster. Tickets offices are closed due to COVID protocols on game day. ESPN live at 4 p.m. kickoff. Everybody is white. Don't let Chuck fool you. He's in the studio with that little gray off-white dingy. I don't know what he got going on, but he's got some white. He's got some white he hasn't put on yet. So when we go outside, everybody's in white out there, man. Again, we can hear the boom marching in now. So they're coming into the stadium. The team arrived just before 2:00. Coach Prime got here about 20 minutes before they did. He's been energetic on the sideline. We were just out there with him. He was we weren't out there with him as he was running. We were standing still.
Yeah,
he was running.
He gets his wind sprints in.
He gets his pregame wind sprints in, man. He sprints 100 yards several times and jogs the end zone, then walks a little bit, get his mind right, and you know he's in do not disturb mode. So his game face was on. Was on.
Well, we take a look at this matchup. It's Jackson State versus Southern, two teams that really mirror each other in terms of what they like to get done. They like to get that running game up and going to kind of open things up with the passing game. But so many individual matchups to talk about. You're talking about Jalen Jones, quarterback for Jackson State, Ladarius Skelton, quarterback for Southern. You're talking about an individual like Jordan Lewis, defensive end for Southern, and you talk about Aubrey Miller, Keontae Hampton, Jackson State. Just a lot of great individual matchups. Should be a great day of football.
It should be, man. Again, field in perfect condition. Weather is great football weather. Not a lot of humidity out there. So going to get up, I think, into the mid-60s. So shouldn't be a lot of cramping and that kind of thing going on. And I mentioned that because, we're coming off a bye week. So people got to rest up and heal up. Now you kind of get back into full football mode because it's hard to practice at game speed. So we've had that off week. So there may be a little ring rust going into the opening possessions, that kind of thing. Folks got to get tackled, get sweating, but they're out there moving around. And Chuck, like you said, there's some key names to watch for in this game, y'all. But just keep in mind, just overall, Jackson State is sitting at number 2 in the East. Southern is sitting at number 3 in the West. A lot of football to be played. This game does not count toward either of those standings, in the SWAC. So it's one of those things that's just purely based on the rivalry, purely based on the mentality of having an upswing in your schedule. It's not one of those games where if it gets by somebody, all is over for you as far as your goal to win a SWAC championship. But it is one of those games that, look, man, Jackson State is 3-1, right? There's a big difference on that win and loss column, regardless what it does to the SWAC standings. You don't want to be 3-2 when you could be 4-1 going into having an Eastern Division opponent in Alabama A&M coming in next week. So this game is vital. This game is important, and they look like they're out there ready to play, man. We saw Jalen Jones bouncing around, saw Nugget bouncing around, saw Aubrey Miller, saw him give you a big hug. Yeah, he bear hugged you, picked you up, Chuck. I thought he was going to slam you. I wish I could step in and help. I like Chuck, you on your own with him. So the energy is good out there, man. And as we roll into this week, Tiger fans, there's still some other things going on in Tiger Nation. The volleyball team finds out Sunday at Johnny T's, their selection Sunday, where they're going to go to participate in that national NCAA tournament. Next week, we move into that spring homecoming. It really kicks off with A.D. Robinson's W.C. Gordon Golf Classic Wednesday night at 4th Avenue. There's a reception. I know you're coming to play. I know you're coming. I'm coming to spectate and just talk a little trash. My club's got cobwebs on them. So we got the golf tourney Wednesday night, the 4th Avenue reception, golf tournament Thursday. Then a series of just homecoming events for the spring as we move into hosting Alabama A&M next Saturday for a SWAC Eastern Division. Really, Chuck, all the marbles on the table.
Yeah.
It's a big game.
Big game you talk about, and you touched on it in terms of the psychology of trying to get the win today. You got a huge game coming next week, Alabama A&M with Aquil Glass, Abdul Ibrahim. You're talking about Alabama A&M, a team that has NFL caliber quarterback, 2 1,000-yard receivers. They got an all-SWAC tight end. They chuck the ball around all over the place. And I tell you what, that's going to be a tough game next week, but we got to deal with got to deal with the dreaded Southern Jaguars.
I've always wanted to do this, Chuck. That's the ponder move. You got to take your glasses off and chew on the arm and ponder. Because ponder this, offensively, we're putting up 39.3 points a game. Southern is putting up 35 points a game. So in the SWAC, we are number 2 in scoring. They are number 3. On the defensive side of the ball, we're holding opponents to 17.5. They're allowing 25.7. So we're number 2 in defense. They're number 4 in defense. It's going to be interesting to see, particularly in that first half of football, who is getting closer to their averages, who is holding the opponents defensively under the averages, or who is on pace to exceed or match their scoring average for the game. Because you're exactly right. It starts today. Can't get too far ahead with that division game next week. Got to play some football today. Got to take care of business Southern today. Not so much for the divisional standings or SWAC standings, because, again, this one doesn't count toward that, but just the mentality of moving into that Eastern game and still trying to win a championship this spring.
Yeah, you talk about the matchups, the individual matchups, the quarterbacks especially. Jalen Jones for Jackson State through 4 games this season, he's already thrown for 773 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's also chipped in another 215 yards running. Ladarius Skelton, I look up little interesting factoids. 22 stars for the Southern Jaguars. He has 49 touchdowns. So these are two very dynamic quarterbacks on opposing teams. You got a national audience today on ESPN. Interesting factoid. Dawson Odoms, after a bye week, he's 14-2. So you got a lot of little interesting bylines going into today. It should be a fun one because I tell you what, when you talk about Jackson State Southern, you not just talk about the game itself. It's these fan bases who mirror each other. We've talked about it pretty much all week in terms of this is almost like that first cousin coming to the house that you really don't want to come. And that's how the Southern Jaguars are.
Yeah, it is. And when you just took that quarterback position on this national ESPN audience, kicking off here in less than an hour now, you don't just have to watch for those guys' arms. You got to look at their legs. In rushing in the SWACs to date this season, in the top 10, you got 2 quarterbacks in the top 10 in yards on the ground. Number 5, Skelton out of Southern, and number 6, Jones out of Jackson State. So I think both defenses are going to have to be ready and poised for when that play breaks down, that quarterback is going to run, or there's going to be a lot of designed runs. And you saw some of those big games we had in Alabama State with Jalen Jones's legs came on design runs, that QB draw, came on some run pass options, keeping it. So Southern plays that same kind of ball from quarterback. So I think, when you see Aubrey Miller out there bouncing around early, I think he's going to introduce himself to Skelton at some point in this game.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, we talked about how it is a picture-perfect day out there. Why don't we talk to the weatherman now and see how it's looking around the SWAC today?
Meteorologist Paul Williams taking a look at your forecast game by game. We start off in Montgomery, Alabama. Kickoff time, we're looking for partly cloudy skies and 62 degrees, wind southeast at 4 miles per hour, dry field conditions. By halftime, the temperature moved to about 64 degrees, wind still out of the southeast at about 3 to 7 miles per hour, and then we're expecting mostly sunny skies as we go into the end of the game and headed out to the after party. Should be okay. As long as the daylight is around, the warmth will be there. Prairie View kickoff time is at 2 o'clock, but we're going to start off cloudy there with a 20% chance of scattered showers, 66 degrees with winds out of the southeast at about 9 miles per hour. A little bit breezy by halftime, but not a whole lot. Swirling gusts occasionally might not be out of the realm of likelihood. And we're looking at cloudy skies, 69 degrees, wind southeast at about 10 miles per hour. Then on the drive home, look for partly cloudy skies at 68 degrees, wind still southeast, 10 miles per hour. Itta Bena, 3 o'clock kickoff time, sunshine and 67 degrees, wind south, 5 miles per hour, dry field conditions. Sunny skies, and 67 degrees by halftime, but the winds will shift out of the south-southwest, still staying light at about 5 miles per hour. And then, as the sun begins to go down, if you're going to be in the after-party set for us in Itta Bena, be mindful, it's going to get kind of chilly really quickly as soon as the sun goes down. The winds will push out of the south-southwest, but from halftime to the end of the game, we're going to go from 67 down to 55 degrees, okay? And we're looking at a fast drop in temperature as the sun goes down. And when it gets dark, it's going to be clear, so it's going to cool off rapidly as well. Remember, we're just coming off of a freeze warning just to our east. Finally, at Jackson State University, mostly sunny skies at kickoff time and 4 o'clock with 67 degrees, winds out of the south-southeast, 5 miles per hour. At halftime, we'll have 65 degrees, wind shifting directly south at 4 miles per hour. And then by the time the game winds down and you get to your car, temperatures are going to drop by nearly 10 degrees, from 65 down to about 58, 57 degrees, and will drop rapidly. The sunset is going to be at 7:22, so at 7:23, you're going to feel that big of a difference. So if you're doing after party, take your sleeves, take your jacket. Even though it's going to be nice and warm during the game, it's going to be surprisingly and uncomfortably chilly as you're leaving to go to the after party set. I'm Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams with your I Believe Go Tigers forecast. Now back to Bishop and Neely. Go Tigers.
There you have it, Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams giving us our weather forecast. You know we cannot get further into the pregame without Coach Otis Ridley setting the scene for us. Coach O, he brings it hard and heavy every week, takes us behind the scenes in the locker room, and it tells us what sort of Tiger team we're going to take a look at today. He is the director of recruiting. Welcome into the pregame show, Coach Otis Ridley.
How's it going, guys?
Coach, man, we are doing good. We're doing good. You know, we're down here in the media center, just visited with you a little pregame to the pregame. It was good to lay eyes on your brother. And as Chuck said, you know, Chuck, I really believe that this show can take place without me. I believe that this show can take place without you.
Of course.
But there ain't no way this show could take place without Coach O, baby. Coach, we, man, appreciate you coming in and love the feedback you give us and talking to us about what you saw this week as the Tigers prepare to host them Southern Jaguars here at the Vet.
Man, y'all need to stop. Come on, man.
We try to pick up Coach Otis really a little feedback issues there. We'll try to get him on the line here in a second. But I tell you what, we talked about this matchup in terms of Coach Otis.
No doubt, man. It's always a pleasure
to
be with you guys, man. You do a great job with this platform, and I'm excited about.
Yeah, I think we lost Coach O there. He's up in the press box.
Mm-hmm.
Once he comes back on, y'all would. Hey, it's a live show. It happens. We get Coach O back on for y'all in just a second, but he is here at the stadium up in the press box with that bird's eye view. So, Chuck, you were going to touch on, again, those stats and what makes this game special, those numbers-wise. Because you can hear the crowd out there building. You know, the band, the boom is still thumping. Everything is still looking lovely. When that door opens, you can see that sunlight coming here. So it's going to be a beautiful day out there for some football. And I think that weather report from, you know, Paul Williams is a JSU guy and gave it around the SWAC. So I don't think there are going to be any weather issues in the SWAC anywhere, whether that's wind, temperature, or rain, at least while the game is going on. So those kind of things won't be an issue as the Tigers get ready to take the field. I know Coach O is coming back up in just a second. We're about 47 minutes to kick off, and we transfer to ESPN, not 2, not 3, not ESPNU, but the big ESPN, Chuck. We're live on ESPN kicking off at 4 p.m.
Yeah, well, when you take a look, we talked about individual matchups, and I know Coach Otis really, he will get into those matchups, but you talk about teams that really mirror each other. Chad Ford talked a little bit about that run-pass option sort of dynamic that you have with both teams, and they run the ball to set up things to hit passes downfield and things of that nature. Two dynamic receivers for Jackson State in terms of Corey Reed and Dalen Baldwin. Southern has some guys that can take off downfield. They always bring a very talented ball club. And I'm sure Coach O, he'll get into all the individual matchups and what it takes for Jackson State to get this W today, because psychologically, like you said, coming off this loss to Alabama State, they have to get this win today. 4-1 is a lot better on the ledger, of course, than 3-2. So got to get it done.
There's no doubt about that. I think the mentality of that, looking down at your record and seeing yourself as 4-1 versus 3-2, makes this game more important than what it could have potentially been impacting SWAC standards. Coach O, you back with us, baby?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go right ahead, Coach. We're getting a little drag, but you go right ahead. Hey, it's a live program. That happens, brother.
We'll try to work to get Coach back in at some point here in the program. But I tell you what, let's take a break. Yeah, we'll try to get him back in. Well, let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll try to bring Coach Otis really back in.
Let's do that.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Okay, so
And welcome back to the pregame show. It's Bishop Neely here on the Black College Sports Network. We're going to bring Coach Otis Ridley back in. He's going to take us inside the Tiger locker room as they prepared this past week for the Southern Jaguars. Coach O, are you there? We're trying to work to bring Coach Otis Ridley back in. He's connecting as we speak. So, Neely, we talked about this game and the memories of the Jackson State Southern games. We were giggling last night about just all the memories that we have of Jackson State Southern, some heartbreakers, some that might be considered all-time classics. I know the 2010 game is one that sticks out of my head, Casey Terrio to Rico Richardson, but it was just a phenomenal game, probably the only game that I remember Jackson State fans actually storming the field.
Yeah, that certainly was a big one. But there's been a lot of highs and lows that impact your memory in this historic rivalry. It was Southern Baton Rouge that broke our 28-game SWAC winning streak that Coach Gordon had put together. Something that just hadn't been accomplished, to win 28 consecutive games, and then the Southern Jaguars, who were not a big opponent that year. They were not someone who was predicted to beat us. So they knocked us off that throne. But then that led up to going down there to Baton Rouge the next year, which was bid in fall of 90, October 90. And Sean Gregory and Jimmy Smith connecting for 3 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns in the first half, 3 of which went to Jimmy Smith while being covered by, Aeneas Williams, who later on became a Hall of Famer, and we're pretty sure Jimmy Smith is destined for that as well. So there's always been some historic matchups on the field, player to player, position. Cannot forget the rivalry that exists with the band, and that's why we're going to focus on that a great deal today.
Exactly,
because we're going to always be here to talk football. But man, what makes this game even more heightened, even more of a rivalry, is that fierce competition between the Sonic Boom of the South and the Human Jukebox of Southern University.
Of course, no human jukebox today. Is just a Sonic Boom of the South, but it's one of those things that, like you said, it makes this rivalry unique because it's not just the teams on the field, but it's the bands who really go at each other. And I tell you what, we talked to Dr. Roderick Little, who really took us behind the scenes in terms of a lot of things that they're doing at the Sonic Boom. So we can roll that clip now.
Well, I think we're going to try Coach O one more time. He may
try it one more time. Is he back on?
Coach, you there? I saw him pop up in the feed.
Sure. We'll try to bring Coach O back in. I'll tell you what, Roy, let's run with our Dr. Little, and we'll bring Coach O back in a little later on in the program. And welcome back here to the Black College Sports Network, the pregame show here with Charles Bishop and Neely. Neely, I tell you what, man, we cannot talk Jackson State Southern or the Boombox Weekend without talking a little HBCU bands, and we have none other here on the show, the director of bands for the Sonic Boom of the South, Dr. Roger Little. Welcome in to the pregame show.
Oh, thank you guys. As always, thank you for having me. As always, a pleasure of being on you guys' platform. Talk about the Sonic Boom of the South.
And Doc, we appreciate you taking that time out to be here with us, because everybody loves to talk about the boom. In fact, everybody loves the boom. That's even the hashtag. Man, we appreciate you joining us. You're always a fan favorite when you come on and talk. We had you on at the start of the season as we were getting ready to go, and you were updating us on that. Hey, expect for that next game for us to be marching in, and some of the things that were about to change. So from that dynamic, now that your season is underway and you've gotten acclimated as best you can, to this pandemic and the new environment at the stadium, how's everything going for you, and particularly for your student athletes?
Well, actually, everything, with all things considered, are going pretty well. Of course, we had some issues with the start of the season with the winter storm, which kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything, with students not having water and things of that nature. But really, we are starting to find our footing. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort to, put the band program together. And again, a lot of people really just don't realize how many hours it takes to do that. But now in COVID, when you have those hours basically cut to a small fraction, we still have to make sure that we provide the same quality that people know us for. So again, really this week and last week was really the weeks in which we were kind of back to normal and having some type of consistency. And so each week, we want to bring what our fans know us, to be in regards to some of the things that we would traditionally do. As you mentioned, the first game, we did not have an opportunity to march in because we did not practice, prior to the first game any more than 2 hours. And then the game that we had prior to it, the last game that we had, our fans noticed that we marched in. And so this game coming up, I'm excited to announce that we'll be doing a post-game show after the game. And so again, each game we intend to infuse, those things that our fans know and love of the Sonic Boom of the South, because we have that time to prepare for that.
Dr. Little, the Sonic Boom of the South is such an international brand, and you guys are always doing something that puts Jackson State at the forefront. I'm curious, how did this collaboration come about with Disney Pixar films and the movie Soul?
Well, man, honestly, to your point, it is because of the heightened awareness of all HBCUs. Of course, we have Coach Prime here on campus, and so he brings a certain amount of notoriety to Jackson State University as well. And unfortunately, we had the social injustice that happened with George Floyd that I think caused a spark to African Americans and then HBCUs in general. So with that heightened awareness on what we bring to the table as HBCUs, we're starting to see a lot of opportunities for major corporations that want HBCU band programs to be a part of their programs because they see the value that we bring in regards to the entertainment, and also just speaking to the glory of what HBCUs bring to the forefront. So with that being said, my email is consistently indoctrinated with a lot of invites and things like that. And, one of my goals with assuming a role as director of bands here at Jackson State University is to catapult our students in our band program on a national scale, because we all know what we mean to Jackson State University, to the city of Jackson and the state of Mississippi, but we want the whole world to know what the Sonic Boom of the South has to offer. So that's kind of how that came into play. Again, just one thing, it leads to another, with having the performance that we did for YouTube in the fall semester and then doing the presidential inauguration, so all, constituents and people, they get a chance to view that, and then we get more opportunities as we move along. And again, NBA TV, that was one thing that I did mention. So we had a myriad of positive performances to be a part of on a national scale, and we continue to move forward with that, and we're looking forward to doing that with the Sonic Boom of the South.
Doc, appreciate that update and information. You would think that in a pandemic year, things would fall down or lessen a little bit, but for you to keep the band and the university in the forefront of people's mind, not just in Tiger Nation, but worldwide, hats off to you. Chuck, some people frown up when I will mention the band and mention student athletes in the name. And Doc, I have to tell you, just a personal philosophy of mine is that, I define sports and athleticism by a couple of just check marks. Do you sweat doing it? Can you get hurt doing it? Does it take sacrifice and discipline to do it? And if you put all those things in a barrel, well, that means you're an athlete. And so in my mind, those band members, those J-Set, those cheerleaders, everybody that you help get together for game day, are just as much student athletes as we see on the field. So here we are, game day, getting ready for this Boom Box Classic. No box, all boom. And so as you look forward, to this day and the difference that navigating the pandemic and having a competitive band across the way from you, what are those things that you prepare for differently or the same as you go into this environment versus, past environments where you have both bands in the stadium?
Well, it's funny that you brought that up, Neely. I just first want to talk about the student athlete side of it, and band is definitely a sport. We do very seriously, and it's a huge or a vast amount of physical attributes that's being placed in the band ram. And so our students sweat, they exercise, and they do the full gambit. So when you say student athlete, we definitely can kind of use that in the ram of band because it's a very athletic entity that's involved with the band program at large. But in regards to preparations for the Southern game, Of course, the band won't be there, but it's the spirit of SU and JSU, just the camaraderie, just the competitive nature of the game itself. That's still lingering, in our band practice. So our students are still kind of keeping in mind, like, hey, this is we call it the Southern Week. And so the energy, the camaraderie, the attention to detail that we place in all of our performances, not just Southern, is definitely represented in this week's rehearsal schedule. So again, even though a band will not be there, that spirit is still there. I mean, I think people are still putting the marketing behind it. People are still traveling. I'm getting a lot of emails and text messages saying, hey, my high school wants to come and visit you guys for the game. And so really things are quote unquote normal without it being, of course, normal with COVID going on. So we are moving forward in that vein. But in regards to the preparation, man, we're just doing what the Sonny Boom of the South normally does on a week-to-week basis, just making sure that we're pleased with what we do, making sure that our students are pleased with what they're doing, and then overall, that would in turn lead to a great performance on Saturday.
Chuck, a lot of people call this weekend, this big band game in the past years a rivalry, the Boombox Classic. And Doc and Chuck, I got to tell you that it's in my mind when I sit in their stands or I'm on the field listening to both bands, it's not a rivalry. It's more of an association. Much like the hammer is associated with the nail. And in this example, we're the hammer. And so a hammer is going to be what it's going to be, whether we have a nail to hit or not. So great to hear that you guys are preparing and doing what a hammer does. And that's great stuff, Doc, to have your student athletes prepared and operating at that level, no matter circumstances. So hats off to y'all and all the sacrifices you've been making, to make sure this season for them and for the fans, for everybody, is as normal as possible.
Absolutely. No problem. And that's what we're charged to do. I mean, we understand that the band program is a huge public relation unit for the university. And we just want to make sure that we are at the forefront with, representing our university, representing our city and state the best way that we can. And we want to be a part of that atmosphere with, supporting our dear old college home.
Dr. Little, I've always wanted to ask this question of a band director. Are there times when you hear something and it's tailor-made for the Boom?
Man, absolutely, all the time. I mean, we call our...
And that was the first part of Dr. Roderick Little, Sonic Boom of the South, Director of Bands, special segment. Neely, where are you at, man?
Man, I am on the roof. Below me is the locker room. You see the Tigers on the field. You see the white in the stands. You see an ESPN cameraman right there. We're on the roof for this segment, Chuck. The band, the DJ, have taken a little hiatus, if you will. I think they looked over here and saw me. That's from the Jumbotron, that big crowd. So I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to hear me. There's a team running in. Good crowd out here, man. Beautiful day. People are still coming in. There's the Boom warming up.
When you need affordable health care,
you can't beat that, man. That's nice stuff, man. I love that. I love that.
Julian has 40 years of experience.
So look, Chuck,
kids and families
we're going to make this happen. I'm going to come back down to the studio because now the Jumbotron is back on. I know it's hard to hear me. But we're going to add this rooftop segment to some more shows, man.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Thank you, Neely. I tell you what, it is Bishop. It is Neely here on the pregame show. We'll be right back after these messages here on the Black College Sports Network.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to stand?
Since 1987. I forever loved Stansburg because of the people. They're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stamps Superburger to you because, like I said,
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
And welcome back here to the pregame show here on the Black College Sports Network. Like we've mentioned, Southern and Jackson State is not just a rivalry on the field, but it's a rivalry from the band standpoint. Here's part 2 of our interview with Dr. Roderick Little, Director of Bands for the Sonic Boom of the South.
To make sure this season for them and for the fans, for everybody, is as normal as possible.
Absolutely. No problem. And that's what we're charged to do. I mean, we understand that the band program is a huge public relation unit for the university. And we just want to make sure that we are at the forefront with, representing our university, representing our city and state the best way that we can. And we want to be a part of that atmosphere with, supporting our dear old college home.
Dr. Little, I've always wanted to ask this question of a band director. Are there times when you hear something and it's tailor-made for the Boom?
Man, absolutely, all the time. I mean, we call ourselves those that are deeply entrenched in the band world. We call ourselves band heads. And so if you're a true band head, you'll hear something on the radio and say the Boom should be playing that, or that's a band song. So, man, that happens all the time, because, we listen to music all the time as human beings. And so our ear tends to kind of wrap around a certain type of tune. And, we have a chief arranger, Kevin Johnson, and he talks about tunes that he hears all the time that he thinks that the Boom would do well on. So, man, it happens, all the time. And we just put it on the playlist. And some we're able to kind of put out there, and some, we can't, because the list is just so vast and varied.
With the list being so vast and varied, are there genres? Are there times where, okay, this 70s funk, this surf wind, this is our lane? Are there times when you have that?
Yeah, what we try to do is we try to make sure that we are eclectic as possible, knowing that we have a huge range in regards to generations of people that enjoy the Sonic Boom of the South. I mean, you have those from the 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s, 2000s and early 2000s, and now the current era. And so we have to put all that in a melting pot and serve all of those particular generations. But this semester has been quite different. Our fans may have noticed that we have brought back a lot of our standards, and that's by design. And the reason being is because we can only practice 2 hours, with the band program. And so with that being said, some of the things that are easier to learn are, some of those standards. And so that's why we chose to bring back a lot of those standards for this particular season. But however, we definitely intend on, updating our book and make sure that we stay current with the trends that are happening around us to make sure that we can stay competitive in that way. But to answer your question, yeah, we do try to make sure that we play to all of those different types of generations, more so towards the younger crowd, because that's our recruitment piece. The younger generation, they don't want to hear, things that they cannot relate to. So we have to make sure that we stay up to date and current, so we can make sure that we have reputable students coming into our band program, helping us to move it forward.
No doubt.
Yeah, good stuff there, Doc. When you talk about some of those nuances that have made this year different, there are some things associated with the Boom for those quote unquote band heads, as you put out there, that they look for just dates in the calendar, such as, that Alcorn game, that last game of the season is when folks officially become members of the band. And then you have that date on the calendar where the merge takes place. Talk to us about this pandemic band season and how you've had to navigate those traditional band dates juxtaposed to what you're going through from a health and being conscious of your environment.
Well, Neely, it's for a lack of a better word, and not to go too deep into detail about it, it's been tough, because people expect for the Sonic Boom of the South to be the Sonic Boom. They don't really And it's sad to say, and I do understand the notion of it, but people don't really care at the end of the day about a pandemic. They don't really care if our students have been going through a water crisis. Matter of fact, I was talking to our students about this last night. And even though that's sad to say, people expect what they expect. And we have been tasked with the job as a staff and as students to make sure that we provide that particular quality and those events that people know us, to do and to know us for. So what we try to do is that we try to insert it as best as we can. The merge actually happened by mistake, by happenstance, because the game between Jackson State and it was one of those games that got canceled or postponed. It was Valley. So the original date was postponed. And so, we wanted to make sure that we kept our students engaged because they took the time out to rehearse during that week. And we said, well, let's go ahead and do the merge. And so that just happened just based off of a whim. And so we were able to do the merge. And of course, the Alcorn game is canceled this particular season. And so we are just thinking of creative ways to more namely keep our students motivated, because what people really don't understand is that our students get up to see other bands across the field, just like how a football team gets up to see another team that they play against. And so it's almost as if our students don't have anybody to, again, have that positive interaction with in regards to the competitive nature of what band is to keep them motivated. And so what we're charged to do as a staff to think of creative ways on how we can keep our students motivated and still create some sense of normalcy throughout the pandemic. And so far, we've been able to do that because our students have been phenomenal and our staff has definitely been phenomenal with figuring out ways to keep our students motivated.
Let me follow up on a point that you were saying in regards to creativity. We're roughly in an age now where a lot of fans, HBCU fans, have seen, 40, 50 years of HBCU bands. Is it tougher in 2021 to be creative with the Sonic Boom as opposed to 1991 or 1981 or 1970?
Man, it is definitely tough because back when I was growing up, the only way you really got a chance to see a band is if you knew somebody that had a band tape. And so if you didn't have a band tape, then you wouldn't know what the band did that weekend. And so the band could actively do the same show, every weekend or every other weekend and refurbish those shows and kind of make some added additions there and here and there. But now in the age of social media and in the age of YouTube, you can have people, across seas to take a look and see what the band is doing on a week-to-week basis. And so in order to manifest that and stay on top of the cutting edge of technology and making sure that we are remaining relevant, it's a very tough task. But that's something that has become a mainstay now because we are kind of used to it. But, it's definitely tough with remaining relevant. And also, too, something that is unique is that other band programs can see what the Sonic Boom of the South is doing. We see other band programs following what we do, and we like to say and we like to think of ourselves as leaders in the field. We do a lot of innovative things that we notice that a lot of other band programs do. And so once they do them, we have to then go back to the table and say, okay, what can we do to make sure that we are above the fray and doing things differently now? So it's competitive and it's tough in that particular aspect, and it's also tough on the staff and students to kind of recreate what we do from week to week and keep all of our fans engaged.
Do you think fans could potentially, are they a little bit desensitized because you do have access to a band from here, a band from there, to watching the Boom week in, week out? Do you think fans are a little desensitized to something new or innovative or creative?
Absolutely, man. Something that would be jaw-dropping back in the 90s that we do in this band now would not hold the same type of weight in this day and age, because of, again, everybody is indoctrinated with so much information to be entertained, so you have to figure out, because you're not only dealing with band, you're dealing with other aspects that's out there in social media, that you're dealing with as well. And I know band and social media to some people don't kind of go hand in hand, but bands now have a tremendous following just off of social media and videos and things like that. So with that being said, we're dealing with, TikToks and tweets and all the other challenges and things like that that are going on to connect with band to make sure that we stay relevant in that way. So it's so many things that we have to make sure that we keep an eye on to make sure that our band program is, readily staying available with the changes of our society.
Fascinating.
Man, good stuff, Doc. As always, man, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your talents and what you bring to the university and what you're doing leading those student athletes, formerly known as the Sonic Boom of the South. I think you're doing a great job balancing, that tightrope, because, even the athletic department of the university has this catchphrase of building on tradition and blazing new trails. And I think there's no greater personification at 1400 Lynch Street than the Sonic Boom of the South. What you guys do marching in, the traditional nature of that march in and the ramp, and then combined with blazing new trails, some of the creative things you're doing on the field and in the stands and using social media technology. I just say hats off to your brother, your staff, and again, most importantly, your student athletes, because what you do to represent the university individually, Jackson State University, and HBCUs all around the nation, man, I salute you. And as always, Doc Little, anything that we can do to help grow your platform from ours, the door's wide open. We're huge fans of the Sonic Boom and your work, man. We just say God bless you and keep going. Keep being that hammer against that nail.
Well, thank you, man. And I appreciate that. And I just appreciate the notion and the gumption of being noticed. And just to all of our fans, alumni, constituents, and just everybody involved with the Sonic Boom of the South, we have some exciting things coming down the pipeline. And once those things are formally approved, because we have, excellent leadership and administration with President Hudson and his team, so once things are able to kind of be formally put out, we just want you guys to support, support financially in regards to some things that we have going on. And we want our band program to be the leaders in all band pageantry, not just amongst HBCUs, but all band programs in general. And the only way that's going to happen is if we have that financial support behind the band program to get us the things that we're going to be looking for the future, to remain competitive and remain on the cutting edge of what we do with the Sonic Boom of the South.
Well, I tell you what, Dr. Little, you are a friend of the pregame show. We have got to have you back on to really take an even deeper dive into the world of HBCU bands and the Sonic Boom of the South. Thank you, as always, for coming on here on the pregame show. It's Bishop, it's Neely here on the Black College Sports Network.
Chuck, you just cannot have Jackson State play Southern and not talk about the musical component of this. And to have those two segments with Dr. Little, director of Sonic Boom of the South, all the bands, that was just phenomenal information. Doc, we appreciate the time you spent with us and to just deep dive into what the Sonic Boom does in preparation for games and just the nature of being in the band and the fact that they are indeed student athletes. I think that was exactly. Some great commentary. But, speaking of music, speaking of impact that Jackson State has, we have a musician, someone I've known for years. He is the CEO of the Jackson and Convention and Visitor Bureau. Ricky Thigpen is joining us, and he knows about the economic impact that these games bring to the city. Brother Thigpen, welcome to the pregame show. How you making it?
Man, I'm feeling good. It's game day in Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson State University versus Southern University. It's time for football, baby.
No doubt. Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can tell you this, Ricky, the media room where we do the show from is there's a cinder block wall separating us from the Southern Jaguars over there, man, and they're getting hyped. Now I was on the roof of our locker room, and I think we're a little more hyper. But let's get hype about this economy, man. Talk to us about what is meant since September 21st, and what do we have to look forward to, particularly with next week being a spring homecoming, but that JSU impact on the local Jackson visiting and hospitality industry.
Man, COVID-19 has been devastating to the tourism industry. So we know that unemployment is up, but in the tourism industry, it represents almost 35%. Because you think about it, restaurants, hotels, live music venues, convention centers, those are the first things that shut down. So spring football for Jackson, Mississippi is kind of the introduction to bringing back tourism in a very significant way. Specifically this weekend and next week being homecoming, because this is the first time we're really seeing the super large crowds. Hotels are sold out in Jackson, Mississippi this weekend. We expect the same thing for next weekend. So with the vaccines being more prevalent, so our attendance is up in the stadium. So we're able to get out, feel a little bit more comfortable, still wear our masks, be safe. But again, it's football time in Jackson, Mississippi.
Sure. Ricky, I wanted to ask this question, especially looking down the line, if you will. Just once we get around the corner from COVID, what do you expect, especially once we get back toward the fall season and we get back to what we once looked at as normalcy?
Well, what I'm hoping for, I got a chance to have lunch the other day with Dr. Hudson, president of Jackson State University. Dr. Little and I had a meeting just last week. So we're thinking about some big things. Hopefully, if you invite me back, maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll have a huge announcement. We're talking about doing something really very cutting edge for the fall football season. If it all comes together, again, the Convention and Business Bureau, which is the official destination marketing organization, Mayor Lumumba and the city of Jackson, we are all pushing in the same direction with Jackson State University, not only its athletic program, but the institution. We really want Jackson to become the home team for Jackson State University Tigers. And so, a lot of communities, if you go to Auburn, you don't have to guess what institutions in that city. If you go to Hattiesburg, the same thing. If you go to Starkville, and we want to make sure the city's blue and white in Jackson, Mississippi. So we're talking about, again, to set it off some things that are really excite the fan base, but also excite the community, specifically the business community.
Yeah, Ricky, that's some outstanding stuff. And, man, I offer you this, brother, because we go way back now. Remember that. We go way back.
That's right.
When you get ready to break that news, you make sure the pregame show is on that press docket so we can help break that news, because it's exciting stuff, man. We oftentimes have a lot of Coach Prime's guests when they're in town on the program. Spend some time, as you just saw, with Dr. Little this week, and a special guest with a special project that we can't announce yet, but we did record it, and Tiger Fans is coming soon, too. And so some major stuff happening, Ricky. Man, and so you're telling me that right now the hotels are full in Jackson?
There's not an available room in Jackson, Mississippi right now. We're filling up Ridgeland. We're working with our partners in Ridgeland and Clinton and Flowood. So this is an exciting time in Jackson.
And Ricky, no rental cars either. No rental cars either.
We could do a whole segment on Chuck's rental car fiasco. But man, when you think about that, Chuck and Ricky, coming through this pandemic, vaccines are now, we're encouraging people to get vaccinated. Both of us are 2 shots in and doing fine and going through the protocols. Both got tested to be here today on the sideline with the team. So things are working well. Things are going good in that regard. And for us to be at hotel capacity, man, what is this fall going to be like, Ricky? Do we have time to build another hotel before Labor Day?
Man, we're working on it right now. There are a lot of ancillary events around the game. So there are concerts, after parties. We want to make game day really a game weekend. And so we're talking about those kinds of things. But yeah, we need a couple of new hotels in Jackson, specifically one attached to the convention center. So Mayor Lumumba, the Jackson Redevelopment Authority, working really hard on that. And so that's coming around the corner as well. So again, we can't talk about how excited the community is, how embracing the state has been. That's something I like to say as well. The state politicians, elected officials across the state have really thrown their support around Jackson State football, excited about the prime effect, if you will. And we're excited to have that kind of megaphone to be a part of his brand and him to be a part of our brand.
Man, outstanding, Ricky. Ricky, we appreciate you stopping by. And again, brother, we're going to lean on you for at least a piece of that exclusive in a couple of weeks. But we just want to say, man, on behalf of JSU, behalf of JSU Athletics, behalf of our platform, man, we appreciate the work that the Jackson Convention and Visitors Bureau does on behalf of the city and the state to get people to Jackson. We understand how big JSU is as an economic driver for that. And you and your staff have always been an excellent partner with JSU to promote that brand and promote coming to Jackson for events like this. So everybody out there, we got a spring homecoming that's unique next week. COVID protocols will be in place, but Jackson is open for business in a safe manner. So listen to the boss, man. He knows the visitation and hospitality industry, and he's telling you that things are filling up and they're filled up. So y'all need to come this way and let's have a good time. Ricky, man, if there's anything we can ever do to help you guys accomplish your mission, we're just one buzz away, man.
Thank you very much, and you're on my list.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
All right, dude. Go Tigers.
No doubt about it. That was Ricky Thigpen. It's Bishop. It's Neely here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be right back after these messages.
If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
This is Ryan Fulford. AB Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to stand?
Since 1987. I forever loved Stansburg because the people, they're real people. They help the community, and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stamps Superburger to you because, like I said,
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
And welcome back to the pregame show. We want to thank one of our newest sponsors, A-Flow Posters, for partnering with the pregame show. We thank you guys. Go visit their website. They have a lot of great HBCU posters to go into that man cave. And right now we have Neely back on the roof again, man. That's a great shot up there, man.
Man, it's a great shot. We are 5 minutes and 20 seconds away from kickoff. The boom drum roll is starting for the national anthem. So it's exciting time here. We're going to continue to go live through this. I know Chad Ford is going to join us. We might run just a little past 4 p.m., but the team is going to come running out right through that tiger's mouth. Let's listen to the anthem. Man, Chuck, beautiful sea of white out here. You know, even though the stadium is at 50% capacity, quite a few Southern Jaguar fans made the trip. There's a sprinkling of whatever that funky blue they wear is and some yellow. But when you get to that student section and end zone, and shout out to Reed Enterprises. Reed Enterprises provided all those white shirts in the student sections and rally towels for the students.
And you know what's going to happen once this national anthem ends? We're going to hear a lot of noise, but there's a lot of whites, ESPN here set up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having a great time, man. The Tigers are getting ready to come out. I'm looking in the tunnel. Alexis, turn around and get that real quick. You can see them on the screen about to come out. Now, Alexis, come back to the field because they're going to come out that Tiger's mouth right here.
I tell you what.
For the
There's no more exciting time than we came to play. It comes right after the anthem. Jackson State football getting ready to get underway here. The 70th edition of Jackson State versus Southern. This is going to be a Donnybrook.
We came to play. Chuck, man. Great vantage point up here. I see Coach Odom's coming out on the Southern side. He doesn't really sprint down the sideline like our coach does, but he's making his way. But on the Jackson State side, again, man, you have a nice crowd of whites. You got the band and the JSS getting ready. That student section is nice and full. A lot of white over there. Again, our sponsor, Reed Enterprises, who does a lot of what we wear on game day. They provided the shirts on your feet. What they're about to do, y'all, the captains are coming out for the coin toss. We got a drone up in the air.
Go visit Cadillac and Jackson for a prime of the view.
Southern Jaguars are coming out, so you're going to hear some boo birds.
I tell you what, man, this is good stuff. This is what you really come to Jackson State for rivalries like this, Jackson State versus Southern. Neely, we getting the rooftop view here of the teams running out, man. This is fun stuff.
Yeah, it is, man. It's a great environment, Chuck. It's a great view from here, right above the Tigers' mouth. Letting that coin toss take place with the captains. Then you're going to have the Tigers come out. We can see them on the Jumbotron. They're not quite ready to come out. Coming this way, son. Watch your step there. But they're going to come out through this chute right here. We're about a minute. Here we go.
Let's get them.
Tigers against the field. Coach Prime is leading the way. And here comes Get Ready, Chuck.
Is there a more exciting interest in college football? You got to love it. Jackson State University taking on the Southern Jaguars today. Neely, man, we got a new vantage point. We got the Tigers coming out of the Tigers' mouth. This is beautiful.
Yeah, there's Jalen Jones, number 4, coming up. You know, we got 2 forwards, one on defense. John Nugget wears 4, Nugget and Warren. And then you got Jalen Jones 4 on offense. So the Tigers are doing their prayer in the north end zone. We're down here in the south end zone. Tigers on the field. We are 1 minute. We are 59 seconds now. Get ESPN. ESPN is here doing their job. This rooftop view, something special, man. You can still hear Gear Ready going in the background, Chuck. It's a great day to be a Tiger. Great atmosphere out here. Great atmosphere out here in the vet. You can't ask for more.
You can't ask for more. And I tell you what, man, what we're going to do, we're going to bring in our analyst, Chad Ford, here at halftime. We'll be right back here with you at halftime here on the pregame show. It's kickoff time, everybody. It's Bishop, it's Neely here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll see you at halftime. We'll break things down.
Game harder than the other show's party. It's the pregame.